They put the boy Jay in the All-Star Summons. The All-Star Summons are back. And, of course, it's featuring a bunch of Ascended characters along with the newest addition to Grand Summoners Global, Jay. Now, there's no actual information if we're going to be getting his event along with it because he does actually have a unique side story. So it is possible that later on down the line, the boy Jay will actually be featured on a banner of his own. But for right now, the only way that you can obtain the newest Ascended unit in Grand Summoners Global is by summoning on the All-Star Summons or the returning Dream Summons. We're going to be talking about both of these in these videos and telling you whether or not they're worth it, and of course talking about the boy Jay. If you've been around for a while, you'll know that Jay, I kind of refer to him as the updated version of Gray. That's pretty much all he is. He's the Ascended version of him. He has a lot of stuff that is very, very similar, except Jay has a lot more power going on than Gray, and also he's a lot more focused on the first 2 minutes of a quest. He's really powered up, then after that he kind of falls off. You see this the most in his art. His art actually will buff up everybody's art gauge by 20 and water allies damage by 50%, but it will only give all allies 20 art gauge within the first 120 seconds of the start of the quest. The true art reduces enemies damage res by 40%, but if you're above 90% HP you get an 80% damage res down instead. And then the super art gives you a stackable art gauge buff and damage buff. Of course, this stackable art gauge and damage buff is stronger if you use it within the first 2 minutes of the quest. Now, the reason why I say this guy is the new version of Gray is because of one of his passives. At the start of the battle, you increase your own art gauge by 200. This is the unique passive for Jay. This is the exact same passive that Gray actually has, except it's worded differently because it scales based off of Gray's luck. But it works the exact same way. At the start of each stage, you will get 200 art gauge, meaning that you can use Jay's true art or go into the super art on the next stage. And let me tell you, if you love Gray, you're going to be loving Jay, especially if you have luck gems saved up. You can turn this guy into your luck unit if you want to. This man Jay is used for a lot of different auto farms, especially with crest palaces. There are tons of videos out there of people just doing a 2-man run or a 3-man run with Jay being one of the characters and breezing through it like it's nothing. Of course, if you can already do that, then you don't really need him. But if you did want to get into that kind of atmosphere, you absolutely can with the man Jay, because he just kind of solo stuff. Of course, Jay on his own, he actually doesn't give any type of crit buffs to himself or defense ignore, so you would have to provide that through equips. But overall, he's just an attacker that can do a lot of damage every single wave and provide you with damage res downs or provide himself with damage buffs and art gauge buffs. So he's not really that needed, to be honest. He's a cool character, not gonna lie. He's the Ascended Gray, literally, but he's definitely not needed by any means since he's just an attacker. So if this guy doesn't really interest you, then definitely don't think that you have to summon on this freaking banner. This banner is a problem, and the reason why it's a problem is because the All-Star banner has every single character that has ever been released in the banner apart from crossover units. Every single character ever is going to be in this All-Star summon, and there are no like increased rates when it comes to this banner. It's just all the characters are in there and it's a mixed bag. I really don't recommend summoning on the All-Stars banner unless you're a newer player, because if you're newer, then you're just looking for pretty much anything, right? And because of that, you might be able to luck out and get something that could really benefit you and help you out. However, if you're older to the game, it really sucks because you can't target one specific unit, and it's very likely you'll get someone that you already have. So if you're thinking about summoning on this banner as a veteran player, unless you just really want Jay, I would highly encourage all of you guys to skip it. Even if you're not a veteran player and you've been playing the game for the last 3 or 4 months, I still would encourage you to skip this banner and not really go in on it. If you're brand new to the game, you can absolutely offer some crystals for this just to see if you can maybe get lucky and possibly walk away with a War God Fin, a Kirisame, Senki, or someone like that. If you guys do anything, just don't go more than like a multi on this banner. Do not waste all your crystals because you need so many crystals to be able to do this every single day it resets, and it's just not worth it. Now, moving on to the Dream Summon. Now, the Dream Summon is a paid ticket, and this paid ticket will allow you to summon a character that you do not own. That means literally anybody in the game that you do not own that is not a crossover unit. So this means that everyone up to Senki's release will actually be featured on this banner. Now, I don't actually think that means Demon Lord Vox. I think Demon Lord Vox came right after Senki, if I'm not mistaken. So unfortunately, he won't be on the Dream Summon, but everyone else will. And my overall thoughts with this one is, should you use it or should you not? It depends on who you're missing, and also depends on how bad you want it. This thing is expensive. It's like $50, sometimes even $100 just to buy this one ticket, and this is like all you get most of the time out of the pack. Me, myself, I usually always do it because it's kind of hype, but a lot of the times, if you're missing a lot of stuff, I wouldn't really recommend it. I think this is more so a thing for collectors or like hardcore veterans who've been playing the game for years to finish their collection, to be able to buy this ticket and be able to complete like their compendium or their collection because they're only missing like 2 or 3 units in the entire game. I wouldn't recommend this to a new player whatsoever, or even somebody who's been playing the game like within the last year. It's just not going to be worth you. So yeah, overall, don't summon on these banners. Whatever you do, I might do a summon on them just because of I usually always do to kind of end off the year. But yeah, you guys don't do it. Don't do it at all. Don't waste your crystals. I'm telling you, save for Star God Lisa or whatever else. Don't fall into the trap of the all-star summon. Ladies and gentlemen, though, that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you all again for coming out. It's been your boy P. If you enjoyed this video, have a man check out either one of the videos popping on the screen right now. Great content, guarantee you love them. Oh, and one more thing before you leave, don't forget to drink water.